What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Friday. Boy, is it nice that it is Friday. And it is Friday, December 29, and you are watching and listening to the Daily AI Show. I have Andy with me, and I am Beth. And today we're talking about upscalers, specifically Magnific, but because that's the new one, that's the new kid on the block in many ways. But I'm going to share some of my experiences with some others, because cutting to the lead, Magnific was not actually super helpful for me.
In a specific use case, I want to just generalize the idea of upscalers, which is taking an image that doesn't have high enough resolution for use in a high-res application, and using AI to basically fill in the pixels and expand the resolution of the image. Now, that can be done for graphic arts, anime, whatever you have that you want to, increase the detail that's available in the image, but can also be used on, old photos that you may have. Like when you get to my age, you've got a lot of very low resolution photos that are out there. And in some cases, photos that have been damaged or messed up. And that's another application of upscaling using AI, which can fill in those missing parts. And that's a key capability of AI. Imagining what should be in the rest of the image that's not available. We don't, I guess today, Beth, you're not going to be able to demonstrate that, but I want to.
No, I can.
Make sure that's okay, cool.
I can't with my own low res photos, but we'll be able to see it.
Okay, cool.
One of the things that Magnific is designed for is that it's specifically designed to use AI to imagine details in an image that it gets from the context of the image. So let's just see. And for those of you who are listening, this is going to be a very visual intensive show. So hang in with us. And I hope that that for folks who are, there we go.
Okay, you're sharing your screen in a moment here, right?
Yep. And this is going to be a video that is found on X. Yeah.
And it's a video of Magnific demo scaling.
It's a bit, yes. It's actually a going deeper video. So how do I share? Here we go. Present.
Oh, awkward silence.
Yes, sorry.
StreamYard presentation setup is slow to implement.
And this is in fact what, there we go. Okay. Yes. Awesome. So you're seeing this picture of steak, and let's just give credit where credit is
steak
due.
On a fork.
At Masahiro Cheyenne, maybe.
Yeah.
And here we go. We are going to upscale this, and this is going to show. So it's a bite of steak on a fork, and it gets more expansive. And now you're seeing details that are imagined. You may never want to see food up close like this.
Yeah, they're zooming in on the photo and going all the way down almost to the cellular level.
And here are the cells. We're now 128 times. And now we're going to pull back out.
So the availability of details that weren't available in that is all generative. right? So this is AI image generation, and it's allowing a zoom in on meat all the way down to the cellular level, which is very cool. You can take almost anything, and the training of the AI is so sophisticated that it will reasonably expand upon what the context of the image is. That's a cool demo. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So now I'm going to show you my most successful piece. And this is, so one of the things that I do with my art is in Midjourney, what I really like to do is give it impossible tasks and see what it will come up with. And so the impossible task that I gave it was, let's remove that. There we go. There we are. The impossible task that I gave it was to combine two animals. So for this, what I'm going to show you is a combination of a raven and a turtle, right? And I find that kind of stuff more exciting. It gives me more to work with than the typical turtle image or raven image. Some things work, some things don't.
An Edgar Allan Poe fantasy, Nevermore turtle.
It actually is kind of, because the accent is silver, so it's a deep black and silver image. So
okay, we're going to see a picture here in just a moment.
We are going to see a picture in just a moment. And that's not it. That's not it. This is it. Okay. Here you go. All right. So this is the original image. And you can see, if you're looking at the image, it looks kind of like
a raven head on a turtle shell, where the raven head is made of turtle kind of scales, instead of feathers.
And because of the way that it's lit, to me, it almost looks stitched, right? So that you're seeing like sewn patterns around the scales. And what it does when we upgrade it, when we upscale it, and up here you can see we've upscaled it for nature and landscapes. This is how Magnific works. So creativity 2, HDR 2. Creativity is like how much is it going to imagine. HDR is how much of the detail, right? How fine you want the detail. And resemblance, I've had -2, so that I'm letting it imagine and go somewhere else in terms of how much it resembles my original photo. And so this, what I'm doing is I'm sliding the slider so that we can see what it does with it. And what it does for me is it takes away a bunch of that sewn texture. I'm no longer seeing the same kind of stitched features. The features that look stitched. It does look more like a sculpture than an animal, but I'm not upset about that. I actually kind of like this image, and this image itself
and the fine lines on the turtle shell back of this combo creature, they got more detailed. I could see the change there.
Right.
And contrast for each of the lines improved. So it clearly gave it more resolution. You see, it looks like a brush stroke in the unimproved or unscaled image, and then you get a bunch of detail that looks much more realistic, actually, instead of like a silver brushed aluminum kind of look. It goes to something that's more organic looking.
Right. And I suggest people try this out if you are interested in this kind of like upscaling kind of stuff. But there are some options that are, and what Andy was talking about in terms of the like taking an old photo and upscaling it. It's a good option. There are free upscalers. I'm sorry I didn't play with any of them because I have 3 that I'd paid for. So I was playing with the ones that I thought were best. There's something called Upscale with AYL or AYLE. That's something you can get on GitHub, and you can install it on your local machine. They have a cloud
Well,
version coming.
Beth, tell me, so you apparently are a big upscaler. You have 3 paid subscriptions for upscalers. Explain what it is that you do with them.
Okay.
Is it really playing, or do you actually have some work applications for them?
So I have paid for 3 upscalers, but Magnific is one of them. I'm just doing it for the month for this show. One of them is Photoshop.
Yeah.
So it's not just an upscaler, right? It gives me generative fill. It gives me the ability to really mess around with photos. And the work, the work task of that is that the images that I make, I would like to be able to sell as prints and cards. It's basically where I'm coming from. And so those are those projects.
Got it. Okay.
The
And I've
Photoshop.
seen some of your artwork. You've shared it before. It's really
Yeah.
quite good.
Thank you.
Fantastical. So, do you want to share something that you've done with that idea in mind? I'd love to see it again.
Sure. Well, let me talk about the third. So
Yeah.
Gigapixel, made by Topaz Labs, is also an upscaler, and they actually have it embedded in Topaz AI, Topaz Photo AI. And those are one-time costs. So you buy Gigapixel for $99 right now. Photo AI is on sale, so it's $149 instead of $199. And then that gives you all of those abilities. Magnific is a monthly subscription. He's pretty responsive. There's a chance that we'll be able to just buy credits, right? As opposed to a subscription that you lose the credits if you don't use them all. So I would recommend playing with it if when that happens. And Midjourney has its own upscaler, which we're definitely going to show. So this is Gigapixel, Andy. So
Okay.
I am just going to go through, because this is what you were talking about, the ability to take something that is a fairly low resolution and upscale it. So what it has done is, this is a picture of an Asian woman. It was very pixelated prior. Pixelated means that you can see the squares that make up the image. Now you can't, right? So
And right now I can't see it. Are you
Oh.
sharing your screen?
Welcome to apparently like a dress rehearsal show. Sorry, that's hilarious.
It's okay.
What I'm trying to figure out is how to I know how I can do it. I can just share my window instead of the things. All right. Yes. Here we go. Okay. So that's the meat one. This is Gigapixel.
Okay. So it's a photo of a beautiful woman. It's clearly low res. So it's blown. It's basically been zoomed in on the face. But as you know, with many photos, if you zoom in, if you step way back to the other side of the room and look at it, it looks fine. But when you zoom in, it gets fuzzy and blurry. But now,
right,
with you're getting better DPI, or dots per inch, by increasing the resolution, and suddenly she comes into beautiful focus. And that's the beauty of this technology. It really improves your eyesight. Suddenly I can see better, Beth. It's like I put my glasses on.
And the other thing about these tools is that when you are creating them for the web, things look great. right? I mean, it's because the web is 72 dpi, so 72 dots per inch, but print is 200 to 300. Like fine art print is 200 to 300.
Hence the business application that you have for using these upscalers, because you
Right.
want to sell prints, I guess, on Etsy or wherever. And there's probably a better place to put digital imagery up than Etsy. I'm just showing my old school connection
No.
to the old art space. Anyway, so you're upscaling your generative AI imagery,
Right.
which you've used text to image capabilities to refine into some beautiful image. But then in order to get it to the 200 DPI sort of minimum for printing,
Right.
you use an upscaler before you deliver it to the printer.
Right. So now what I'm showing you is the Discord, and I should be looking at turtles. Okay. So I had a lot of fun.
This is your Discord.
This is my Discord. This is my Discord server. Okay. So all of these are images that I made.
Cool.
And this is the turtle that we are playing with in Magnific.
It's a giraffe turtle. So imagine a turtle. It looks very much like a bizarre, mixed DNA turtle, but it has a long extended neck, and the two little promontories that are the horns of a giraffe. Those little small horns that they have. So that's for the people who are listening only.
Yeah. And you definitely want to see, like, you would see this in a cartoon movie potentially. I'm not actually I'm not asking for it to be a cartoon, but I am asking for it to be anthropomorphized, right? So that it has more human-like expressions, because when they don't have human-like expressions, they look kind of horrifying. So that's the soft, gentle nature of it.
So just because I'm curious, and I don't publish anything on Discord, although I have an account with Discord, and I connect to various communities on Discord for different AI tools.
Right.
But tell me how it is that you're using Discord here. Is this for the purpose of sharing it with other folks, or is this just like a database in effect for you of the output that you've generated for these images?
Midjourney specifically only functions in Discord right now. It is a Discord bot that does the imagining and creates the images. And
okay, so that's where you built these things in Midjourney, and so it stays in Discord in effect until you download the final image.
Right. So
But Midjourney is coming out to the web, right? Sometime soon.
Right. Midjourney is working on its web interface, and I believe actually. So I am a medium user of Midjourney, I guess we're considered, because I have made 5,000 images, and I believe if you've made 10,000 images, then you are ending up with that you're able to use the website interface. And I can show you that if you want to see it.
Oh, you mean so when they go to the web, they're not going to make this generally available to the public at the web? That you have to first work in Discord and generate a minimum of 10,000 images?
No. When the web interface comes out for real, so you can see Imagine coming soon for me on my Midjourney screen, and yes, playing with other images. Some of them look a little more sinister than I had intended them to.
We're seeing a sort of a panel of, let's say it's about 40 images.
Right.
Each of them variations, different angles of a sort of morphing character, a small either rabbit or rodent, depending on the image. with bulging eyes in some cases and not, larger and smaller ears. And so there's some variations that you've triggered by text prompts, I presume. Yeah. And oh yeah, they're very, very cool images. I mean, really quite remarkable. There's somebody in TikTok now called Kelly something, who's doing motion equipped, such, fantastic imagery. I wish I had that person's name. Maybe before the end of the show, I'll post that here so we can share it. I think that's the most advanced of these kinds of images, including full video, like longer video format, but morphing characters like that.
So that is part of what people got really excited about for Magnific. And specifically, like if you go back to that steak imagery that we started the show with, you can zoom in, which is a camera movement, right? And then basically what you're doing is you're moving between two images, but you're zooming in on one image until it gets to the place where you're starting the second image, and then you're zooming in on that detail, and that's really the infinite zoom kind of idea, which I think is really lovely. And I've done some of that, but what I was looking at specifically for this show was using Midjourney's version 6, which is the new Midjourney that came out and does not have upscale as one of its features within Midjourney. That's not there yet. And that's actually what you're seeing when I'm showing you things. The turtle giraffe, or the turtle maybe. That actually, it can be imagined in version 6 in a way that actually is much more detailed about that imagining than in the previous version. When I did it in the previous version and it upscaled, it ended up looking like rabbits and rodents.
So. Cool. So the woman's name, I presume it's a woman, using Midjourney. So I'm just going to hold this up to my camera so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about here. But this is a woman named Kelly Bosch, and I've spelled.
Hi, Kelly.
Yeah, I hope she's looking. Yeah. Anyway, she's using these. She's generating these images all from the same Midjourney prompt. So notice that they're moving.
Right.
Each one of the images moves. And so she's added motion to these things, but you can see how fantastic the images are.
Right. And
Midjourney.
That's likely with Runway's motion brush, or maybe a Leonardo. There are a bunch of tools that will do, or it could even be Pika, right? There are a bunch of tools that will give you that slow kind of camera pan. You could speed it up in another tool. You can also, the other thing that her images were doing were closing their eyes and opening their eyes. And those also can be done with like a motion brush tool. All right.
So if you're interested in seeing that, and I think it's pretty profound, it's just in my For You page. I don't follow her, but she's been appearing frequently because of the beauty of the images that she's generating and the significant number. Her last name, Kelly, is Boesch.
Nice. Okay. So what I'm going to share now is actually a very simple image. This is not something that I knit, but it is something that I generated a photo of something that was knit. And here you go. Yeah. Okay. So basically what you're seeing is an egg, and it's a knit egg. So the bottom of the oval is knit in white yarn, and the top of the oval is knit in yellow yarn, egg yolk yellow. Has two funky little hands and a knit face, smiley face. So it's sort of, I guess, a happy emoji kind of knit egg. And this is actually, this was made in Midjourney in a way that I could upscale 24 times. So I believe this is a 4,000 pixel by 4,000 pixel, probably 4,096 by 4,096. So this, I don't know that anyone would want it, but it could be printed at a much larger print size. And
Yeah.
that's really what we're talking about in this. Sorry, now I'm going to stop that again.
Can you share with us what the prompt language was to do such a thing? I know we're focused on the upscaling part of it, but to get to a texture which is knitting with those components, what would you have typed into? What text would you have used in order to prompt Midjourney to do that?
This is actually one of the more simple prompts that I have used, but it is basically happy egg hand knit action toy. That's literally what I did. What I tend to do is a prompt chaining technique with Midjourney. It's a kind of thing that we learned and taught in the prompting course at the AI Exchange. It's also a technique that Future Tech Pilot is a good follow for people who are interested in Midjourney on YouTube. And he talks about prompt chaining as well in this context. So I would typically create the base that I want, which might be a turtle giraffe, right?
Yeah.
And then I would prompt it to be a hand knit posable action toy based on that image of the turtle giraffe. That isn't what ended up happening. And I kind of got excited about some of these other things. Let's see this. And where I see this going, I'm really glad that you talked about the motion involved in that woman's images, because that's really where this is going. It's going to end up in some movie kind of stuff. And this little creature, which is actually the result.
It's like a combination of a Yoda-like character that is possessed of enormous rodent-style ears and huge eyes, very detailed, kind of fur, but it almost approaches scales when you look at it in detail. Reading a book with a Yoda-type cloak on, and wow, a very, very interesting and fantastic character.
Right. Actually, when this came up, I thought, oh, now this could be the protagonist, right? This could be the protagonist in a kind of movie. We're not actually, or a story, right? We're not actually at a point yet where it's easy for me to just take this and say, okay, so now let's make this 3D enough that I can animate it, right? Yeah. So he's actually reading a newspaper, so he can put the newspaper down. He can stand up. I'm guessing because his ears are so large, his ears might move.
Yeah, right? I think so. Yeah, they're standing up, so they're not going to be floppy. They must be muscled.
Right. And no, that's not going to be it.
So now this one was done in this Midjourney.
That's done in Midjourney. So let me go back, because
can you do motion brush in Midjourney?
No, that's something that's coming at some point, but it is not. It's not something that's available right now. So I'm going to open this in the Midjourney Discord, and we're going to go back to see the images that created it. Okay, so this is an upscaled image, so it's probably 2,400 pixels by 2,400 pixels. Mm-hmm. We're going to go back This is before it was upscaled. You can see that I've selected Upscale Creative there. We're going to go back here, and that is the gecko turtle image that came from.
And so what was the prompt that modified it to make it this Yoda rat?
You are not writing the marketing for my movie, Andy. 1/12 scale, handmade posable anthropomorphic soft toy, luxurious fabrics, fairy core, French blue and white pattern, reading a newspaper, full body product photo, studio lighting, seamless white background.
Beautiful.
And then there are like parameters. So I've said to Midjourney, style it to 240, and that can be 0 to 1,000, I believe. Give me 6 of weird, and only adhere to the image 0.5 out of a scale of 2, I think. So like a quarter. You don't have to stick super close to the images, basically.
Yeah. We had a discussion yesterday or the day before, I think, about the idea of having a consistent character.
Right.
So you generate something imaginary like this, and one of the things that happens when you try to add motion to it is it starts to, decompose and changes its features in a way that isn't continuous. So tell me about where we are in that progression, and is it possible, as you're imagining taking this beautiful character that you've created and making a short movie about it, maybe for a children's story or whatever, how do you get the character to stick and be consistent throughout all the frames?
So one way to do that I have not done yet, and it is a project coming up in the first quarter of 2024, you can hold me to that, is to train a stable diffusion model based on this kind of character generation. And then I can use something like ControlNet to pose it. For me, I would likely start with creating a storyboard, which could be a book or a series of images with some
narrative,
that kind of stuff. But as we said in our prediction show, 2024 is very likely the year of animated video. And so the next pieces would be not just poses, those poses would become keyframes, and then there would be animation that would imagine the frames between those two keyframes, and lip sync that would move the mouth. And again, one of the reasons that I'm interested in this, which I think I said recently, is that I think this kind of lip sync will fly faster than a lip sync of a human. We notice when the human's mouth doesn't seem to be correctly mouthing those syllables, and we don't. We're much more forgiving of puppets or non-human but anthropomorphic animations. All right. Thank you, everybody. Andy, do you have a final wrap up?
Yeah. Thank you, Beth, for sharing this incredible skill that you've developed with these. Many, many months ago now, like at the very beginnings of generative AI, you jumped into this image generation piece. And you've mentioned some things like ControlNet that I've never heard of before. I don't know what the set of tools are, but I'm delighted to have the opportunity, and I'm sure our audience is too, to hear from someone and see the output that's possible in the hands of someone who's practiced at it.
Thank you. And I think what we'll do is sort of keep checking on these periodically, because they are just going to get more and more. You're going to be able to get more and more detailed. The way that I perceive these is as tools, right? This is for me just a different kind of camera, or like I was given a magic paintbrush that I could just say, I'm imagining this, and it comes out on the thing. So, so that's really where I'm coming from in this. And thank you, Jesse, for hanging with us and enjoying the show. We really appreciate you.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This has been the Daily AI Show with Andy and Beth. There are usually up to 7 of us, and we expect people to be coming back next week. We were happy to hold the fort during this time. And on Monday, we are exploring the intentional romantic relationships with AI. So things like Digi.ai. I will give a tiny preview of that. Before you sign up, read the terms because they're a little nuts. You're giving a lot away. But also, like, we have more experience with Pi than Digi and those sorts of things. Thanks, Jesse. Happy New Year. Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
And
see you Monday.
Andy and Beth out. Here we go. Thank you. Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody. Aloha from Juni.